Uh-oh. It's been reported KD wants either himself or the coach out of here. What does this freaking mean for the Brooklyn Nets? Now, I'm a big proponent of maybe Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving coming over to the Lakers, playing with LeBron, but at the same time, he's still got 4 years left on this contract. This could be devastating for the league and the Brooklyn Nets. Welcome back to the NBA White Guy YouTube channel. Here we discuss all things NBA, usually from a baller's perspective. I don't care about the legalities, the contracts, if it works, just simply if these players can ball together, and in-game insights from a hooper. If you like that kind of content, make sure you hit that subscribe button and you click the like button. Okay, so Kevin Durant comes out and he says, you know what? It's either going to be Steve Nash, the GMs, or me. What does this ultimatum mean? First and foremost, I'm not a huge proponent of right after the draft saying, hey, I want out of here, and then go silent for a month, month and a half, like, yeah, nothing's going to really happen. And then boom, right before the season, now we're going to start saying, hey, I want out of here, or it's him or me. Dude, the Nets are going to be an absolute disaster. A lot of the things that I talk about in this YouTube channel comes from a basketball player's perspective. When you start ruining the locker room, the chemistry, that's when things really go south. It's unfixable at this point. I don't even know if unfixable is a word. Comment down below if unfixable is a word. But you cannot sit there and have all of these conversations and yet still go on with the season. The biggest problem is when you go back to Twitter, you see that Joe Tsai has the back of the front office and the coaching staff. He says it's got my support. We will make decisions in the best interest of the Brooklyn Nets. So this is not going to go away. This is also something where they're starting to strong. I love this meme right here in the back. New York fans, be the realist. Now, when you're talking about a governor for a team and they're going to be backing the staff, they've kind of already made the decision. I think what they're doing, strong-arming Kevin Durant. Look, you got 4 years left. You're not bowing out. Now, what does this do for the rest of the league? We all know that when LeBron made the decision, he was taking his talents to Miami, to the South Beach. That's what opened up this whole forefront for player movement. I'm for player movement. I think it is incredible for the league. Look at what the NBA has done in the past few years. They dominate every single month. Now, they'll never catch the NFL in totality, but at least they're relevant month after month after month. Not only just when the season and obviously when the finals or at least the playoffs. They are relevant throughout the entire summer, and it's because of what LeBron James with player movement. But the thing about him, he was through his contract, and he was on an awful team that would not get him one freaking star, and he was carrying a bunch of bums to the finals, and he said, you know what? If you're not going to do anything, I'm out of here. That's exactly what it should be about, but that was a free agency move. This is 4 years left on a 5-year deal saying, I want out. I don't think that that's good for the NBA, because if the Brooklyn Nets actually do get rid of him, a whole plethora of players are going to be getting out. Zion just signed that deal. He's going to want out. You're going to get big-name people wanting to go play with their friends or better teams, and they're going to start trying to get out of contracts after just 1-2 years. This is going to create an absolute mess. So I think Brooklyn has added pressure, not only, hey, we like our coaching staff. You're not going to just come in here and tear everything up, but also with the entire league and the NBA. I think other coaches, other owners, everybody is saying no to this. So it's going to be difficult not only for Brooklyn to, to have this conversation with Steve Nash and say, hey, look, you got to go, because that's the last thing we want. We do not want this major player involvement in the coaches, which we all know that LeBron, some of these stars do have that, but they can't come out publicly and say this stuff. Now, going back to the original tweet here, the sources say Kevin Durant informed Joe Tsai that he does not have faith in the Nets' direction. The meeting was described as transparent and professional with a clear message. Keep me or the GM and the coach. So the big part that I think is right there, the headline here of Kevin Durant informed Joe Tsai that he does not have faith in the Nets' direction. This is where I'm on Kevin Durant's side. Watching that absolute debacle in the playoffs last year where they could not physically do anything, and Steve Nash sat on the sideline like this. He never made one coaching decision. He never made one change. I can take my 4th grade team and go out there and make changes every single quarter, every half, and absolutely dictate or change a game because of one little decision. And I don't think Steve had any sort of cojones to do that. And second of all, I don't think he was running the locker room. That's why I'm a big fan of like the Darvin Ham move to the Lakers. He's an ex-player and he's a hard head player and he is very respected in the league. This is kind of with this whole new player movement stuff. I think having that ex-player does help. But in Steve Nash, hey, you already had before the season, you had Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant say, we really don't need a coach. You know, we're kind of the coaches. We could have one. We don't really need one. It was doomed from the start. This is where you do need to get somebody in with some clout. I'm not a huge fan of the ex-player, but has zero, and I mean no experience coaching. That you can say Steve Nash has been a little bit of a coach, maybe helped out here. I'm talking none. Darvin Ham was for the Bucks. He's been coaching for over a decade. The dude never got his chance. He is highly respected and touted, and he's taking no crap from anybody. He went right into that locker room and said, this is exactly how we're doing it, right? So that's the big difference. On the other hand, you got Steve Nash who came in and it was kind of like, well, he's buddies with them and they're buddies and they're friends. And I think Kevin and Kyrie were just like, we'll run this mug. We don't need no help. And that's what put Nash behind the 8 ball. So now you can't go back in and try and establish that dominance. If you parented for 10 years one way and then all of a sudden you just came in and you changed and you were hard out and you're driving, it doesn't work. Your kids know who you are, or vice versa. So you have to understand that the locker room is already blown up. So this is going to be either A, the coach and the GM are out, or B, they've got to make a trade to get Kevin Durant out of there. I think with 4 years left on the deal, that kind of sucks. But at the same time, that's exactly what has to happen, I think, with the Nets. This is going to continue to linger and linger. I don't think anything's going to change. I think he's over Brooklyn. And this is kind of the sad part about Kevin Durant now, too. It's been too much player movement, like worldly talent, one of the best lethal shooters ever. I love his game. I think he's just completely unstoppable. But to leave the Warrior situation was the dumbest thing ever. You had it made. Although I hated it because it was like the most unstoppable force, that's probably something you could have stuck with. Completely built out this massive legacy, but he couldn't get along there. He wanted to do his own thing. Same with Kyrie, and they just get tossed around. It's also the big thing about these contracts, having 3 mega stars. It just really soaks up your bench. Their bench play was terrible last year. So I think, now this actually opens up the door more, and especially, reading some of these, from Brian Windhorst or ESPN, they're really talking about, hey, now they can move Kevin Durant. It's going to open up the doors more to get Kyrie Irving. We just got to get Westbrook out of LA. He needs to move on and go flourish somewhere. And I did say flourish. I think Westbrook will flourish again in another system. He will not have the pressure of LeBron or trying to make, 25 points a game. He's going to be able to play his way again. I think he will flourish. A team will like him. It's an ungodly contract that I would hate to take up, but at least he can go give you buckets. He can run a team. He can bring the ball up. He can, get into his teammates about playing hard, and that's what another team may need. But getting him out of the Lakers, that situation is not going to work. Getting Kyrie there, I think it's going to be massive. That's kind of the weight that LeBron needs off his shoulders, where he can drive, kick more, and actually have somebody who can get a bucket, actually have somebody who can shoot a 3, and then they can also play through AD. That's the kind of thing they were trying to do. So the mess over there in Brooklyn is just going to get muddier and muddier as the days and times go on. I'm going to be talking about all of these news, NBA trade rumors, and just hoops from a hooper. Now, make sure you comment down below. What do you think you would do if you were the GM or the owner of the Nets right now? Would you get Kevin Durant out of there, or would you get Steve Nash out of there? My vote is probably going to have to get Kevin Durant out there. He's just going to be a headache. Even though I love the guy and I would love to have him on my team, the Brooklyn Nets and Kevin Durant relationship, I feel, is done. It's over. It is just nasty. I'm tired of almost hearing about it. But what would you do if you were the GM? And I am your NBA white guy, all things very opinionated NBA news talk. Make sure you tap that subscribe button and you click the bell so that you can come and debate with me too. And until my next video, we'll catch you later.